those things that, what are those 2 or 3 points that you want consumers to know about your product? And you want to develop that framework in your brand and in your message.
The problem we're trying to solve is fresh food access in Detroit. As of now, about 50% of Detroiters do not have access to private transportation. So you have most people relying on corner stores, liquor stores, and party stores for all their food items. So our goal is to just use a packaged produce product to sort of simulate the other items that are sold in corner stores. So we can't turn produce into a non-perishable item. We can make it easier for the store owner to just keep it up with a simple expiration date. The value that we are adding is we're going to add recipes in there, and we're going to try to make it really clear on the packaging what you need to buy in addition to this pack of produce to make this recipe.
We have honed down that project to focus specifically on providing educational resources via the internet to rural parts of Kenya that are off the grid. So we are doing that by creating an actual system that is cheap enough to implement in these places. So it needs to either use satellite or 3G technology is another avenue that we're exploring, and solar panels for places that don't have access to the power grid. We're trying to figure out how to make this project financially stable. So what we're doing is we're attempting to focus on NGOs, nonprofits, and government organizations that actually would be paying for our service and our products in order to promote their own mission.
C2A2 stands for Community Cars Ann Arbor, and it's a peer-to-peer network that we are setting up to have car owners share their cars with car renters. There are 2 types of people in the world. There are people who own cars and people who don't own cars. There are people who own cars in this community who don't use it all the time. So for example, the instructor for our class, he drives to work 10 minutes at 8 a.m. every morning, parks it in the parking structure all day, and doesn't touch it until he drives back home at 6 p.m. So between the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., there are people who are willing to pay to use his car. So car owners are incentivized to stay in the system because of the financial gain of renting out their cars. And the car renters, we think there is enough of a need for people to continue to rent vehicles from the car owners.
I guess essentially the problem that our venture is trying to solve is the lack of consistent healthcare in third world countries. What we're trying to provide is a solution that's based on technology, and the product we're developing is a software that we put on a netbook, and the software provides communication technology, health education tutorials, survey tools, but really what we're trying to provide is a kind of infrastructure basis in terms of technology for the way that people can really connect with one another without having to spend too much.
My favorite part about the class is the fact that it's multidisciplinary.
It's been good hearing about whether it's legal formation or legal issues or business models, revenue streams, things that we have to think about. But normally when you think about creating a business, I feel like it seems sort of daunting. But I think this class just really revealed that it's really possible if we just think through a little bit of these things for a little bit of time.
You're providing economic incentive for people to help people. I think that's really the win-win.
I really got into the idea of social ventures and how do you create a program that's revenue generating and can sustain itself and still address really important social issues. And once I saw social venture, I was this is perfect. So I jumped on board.